Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's Burst of Innovation. Today, we're going to be talking about something really important, which is getting unstuck. How many of you have had that feeling where you are looking at your challenge, your problem, your task at hand, and you just feel as if you're hitting a brick wall over and over again? At the heart of innovation is thinking differently about what's right in front of you to create an advantage. That's how we define innovation over LaunchStreet. That's how we help our clients unlock innovation, create cultures of innovation, and seize those big opportunities and solve those sticky challenges by seeing innovation in a way that is accessible and possible for everyone, but most importantly, applied to the things that are right in front of you. So today, what I want to do is go through 7 very simple to do exercises that will help you get unstuck at any moment. Before I do that, let me just ask you a question. So for those of you that are on Zoom, put it in the chat bar. And if you're on LinkedIn or Facebook, anywhere else we're streaming, put it in the comment section. In a phrase or just one sentence, where do you get stuck? Is it when things feel big and overwhelming? Is it when you've got a really big challenge that you have to solve? Is it actually that tiny little challenge that rears its ugly head over and over again? I find that we all have patterns of stuckness. We have places that constantly kind of hold us back. And what I find is part of the challenge with that, and the reason that keeps happening, is because we tackle it in the same way over and over again. So, as you know, I've always said questions in is answers out. Well, activity or action in is results out. Let me say that again because I think it's so important. Activity in, action in is results out. So when we do the same activity over and over again, yet we expect the same or different result or answer, that's why we get so frustrated. So what I want to share with you today is 7 ways to get unstuck so that we can go different activities in and different results out. Okay, so Paul says, when things become overwhelming. Paul, you and I are the same in that one. That's when I need to take a step back and make a new to-do list. That's when I know I'm a little bit too overwhelmed and I need to back it up and come at it with a different lens and a different approach. Okay, Sue says, it's the little thing that I just can't get rid of. Yes, and isn't it frustrating when that little thing just keeps nagging at you and nagging at you? So remember, I'm going to keep saying it because I think it's so important. Activity in equals results out. So we're going to put some different activity in so that the results are different. So I want to share my screen because I want to show with you the 7 ways to get unstuck. I recently posted this as a PDF across social media, but I want us to actually have a conversation about it. And let me put up my chat bar because I want to hear from you how you are going to use this. Okay, 7 simple ways to instantly get unstuck. This is a tool from our online toolbox that people absolutely love. So I wanted to bring it, or at least just a nugget of it, to all of you today. So number 1, let's start with the warm-up. Here's the thing. Oftentimes what happens is we get down in the weeds, we get in our to-do list, and then we need a different result. We need innovation, but we're not warmed up. So the brain, while not technically a muscle, in this way acts like one. Much like when we go to the gym, what do we do before we jump on the big weights? We warm up. Maybe we do some cardio. Maybe we do some smaller weights. Then we get to the big thing that we're trying to accomplish. Well, the innovative mind is the same way. One of my favorite, simplest exercises is to take an everyday object, cup, and brainstorm what are all the other uses for a cup. A paperclip, what are all the other uses for a paperclip? A pen, what are all the other uses for a pen? Sounds so simple, but it warms the brain up. It gets us out of that incremental head down in the weeds type of thinking that keeps us stuck in place. Now, if you are leading a meeting and you've got 30 minutes, I want to remind you of one thing. I think this is really important. This exercise, while it takes 5 minutes at the most and can be a lot of fun for people actually, because people come up with the craziest ideas, you might be thinking, but tomorrow I don't have 5 to 10 minutes to do warm up. We got to get to work. This is work. This is going to warm you up and make you more productive and more innovative in the time that you have. You can use any object. People can pick their own objects. But again, the point here is one way to get unstuck is to simply warm up the brain. I'm going to go back to my fitness analogy for a minute because I think it's a good one. If I go to the gym, and I'm not saying I've done this, but I'm saying it's possible. Okay, maybe I have. If I go to the gym and I suddenly jump on the bench press and put a bunch of weights on there, not only can I not do it and it feels exhausting, but chances are I'm going to pull a muscle at the same time, right? We get stuck because we jump in too soon and we're not ready. So all our brain does is go with what it already knows. And then it feels exhausting and hard. And then the brain doesn't want to do it again. So the first way to get unstuck is very simple. Warm it up. Grab a paperclip and find 10 things that you could do new with that paperclip. You'll be amazed. And by the way, I would really stretch you to not just do 1 or 2 things, but 10, 20. It takes us a little bit to warm up. So the first 2 or 3 may not be that innovative, but you'll find by the time you get to 10, 15, they get wilder and wilder. And then you take that warmed up brain and you apply it to the task at hand. Okay. Number 2, time cap it. I find that sometimes open-ended innovation can be a struggle. And what I mean by that is when we have all the time in the world and we're just kind of lollygagging our way through it. Now, there's pressures of work, there's pressures of the world, but we tend to just kind of be like, think about it, jot some stuff down, think about it. I'm all for that. But sometimes I like to throw in a little pressure and I like to time cap things. I find that doing that, first of all, it gets my lizard brain to go, okay, we're only doing this for 10 minutes. I got you. I'm going to take a quiet seat. I'm not going to tell you everything that you're doing wrong and why it won't work. And I'm actually going to make it happen for 10 minutes. So quiet's a lizard brain. But also that pressure, that kind of forced pressure can help you innovate. So I really like to do time cap exercises with myself where I'm like, okay, tomorrow I've got this problem I'm going to solve. So I'm going to spend 15 minutes jotting down every idea and thinking about all the solutions. But when that timer goes off, I'm going to walk away. There's something really powerful that happens too, because now you've got this whole list of ideas. And then when you walk away, right, that's when the brain starts to percolate. You get that thinking time that you needed. So instead of spending a couple hours just kind of meandering your way through it and kind of throwing some stuff on the wall, getting distracted, doing all that, right, you actually put that pressure to work for you. Time cap it. Okay, the third one might be one of my favorite is doodle it. So I had a client once who loved to doodle. And in fact, it helped her think. In fact, what the research has found is that doodling actually increases your focus. How cool is that? But her boss would come up behind her, right, and see her doodling. And she would be panicked because she thought the boss thought she wasn't working if she was doodling. In fact, her boss actually said something to her and said, "What are you doing doodling when I'm paying you to work?" Well, here's the thing. Humans are by nature visual creatures, and we spend most of our time talking and writing, but it's actually the power of the visual that brings innovation to life inside of us. So sometimes just taking a few minutes and doodling out your ideas, drawing them out, or even if it's not an idea, just taking some time doing some circles, triangles, squares helps our brain open up new paths, new wiring, new perspectives. Where research has found is that when people doodle versus write, different parts of their brain light up. So taking a moment to doodle your thoughts, just zone out and doodle a little bit, put your ideas into visual, and they don't have to be good. It's not about that. Just doing that helps you open up innovation and new ideas. This is one of my favorite things to do when I'm stuck, because I know that if I just take a second to zone out and doodle, something will bubble up. I think it also gives my subconscious brain a chance to have a little bit of a louder voice because my conscious brain is busy doing circles, squares, and stick figures. Doodle it. Okay, number 4, break it up. If you've been with me for a while, you've heard me say this over and over again. It takes our brains 5 to 7 minutes to transition from one task to another, to complete the task and to clear it out for the next. Unfortunately, what we do to ourselves is we go from meeting to meeting to task to meeting, right, with no breaks in between. And what little breaks we have go to checking emails. Well, the problem is that creates mental residue that continues to bog us down throughout the day. And what I find really helps to give our brain a chance to just clear and maybe have those ideas bubble up is to walk away for 5 to 7 minutes. Take a movement or meditation break. Walk around the office, walk around your home, walk around the block, sit in silence for a second and just do some deep breathing. No streaming anything, that doesn't count. No checking emails, no checking Instagram. That's still taking in stimulus, right? We want to clear the brain. Those little breaks, those 5-minute breaks, make us more productive and more innovative in the other time that we have. When I first started doing this, I was actually really concerned because I thought, well, if I do this all day, I'll end up with like an hour and a half of my day where I'm not working and I'm breaking. But it was amazing. What I found is for those 5 minutes, every 5 minutes, those 55 other minutes in that hour, were so much more productive and innovative. I was so much more energized and focused. It really helped me get unstuck when I needed it most. Okay, number 5, there's a whole video actually and an entire exercise on this in the toolkit or the toolbox. Change your words. Questions in, answers out. When we change our words, we change those questions, and then we change our answers. So if you're constantly saying something like, how do I capture new customers? Well, if you take that verb capture and you change it to, how do I attract new customers? That's a completely different question, and your brain will go to a completely different place. Oftentimes, the reason we get stuck is because we're asking the same questions and expecting different answers. Doesn't work that way. So change your words and you'll get unstuck. Build, deliver, ignite, attract, capture, discover, like all these different words. In fact, in that template in the toolbox, if you have access to that, there's a whole list of words to get you going. Change your words, you're going to change your outcomes. Okay, number 6. Talk to a stranger. I know, right? How awkward is that? Here's the thing. We talk to the same people with the same perspective and the same ideas. We're all looking in the same box over and over again. And we expect this magical genie to come out, but it doesn't work that way. Instead, I want you to start to talk to strangers. And what I mean by that is not you're welcome to walk up to someone in a cafe. I've done that. And actually I had a great conversation that bubbled up whole new ideas. But what I'm really saying here is talk to the people you normally don't talk to. Get their perspective. Now, they're not going to have all the information you have. I know that. And I know that some of you are like, whoa, Tamara, they don't have the perspective that I have that's needed to solve this or talk about this. I'm going to respectfully disagree with you. They may not have the perspective, but they will have questions that the people you always talk to won't ask. They will have ideas or experiences they can bring in that the other people won't have. Think of it as expanding your lens to see a bigger view. I love talking to people who only are on the surface of my business or maybe 3 rungs out. One of my favorite people to talk to about my business when I'm stuck is someone who's not in my business. He gives me, and he's in a whole different industry, but you know what? It gives me a whole different perspective, and it just makes me think about things a little bit differently. And sometimes just that little difference is all we need to get unstuck. Okay, the last one of my favorites is change your space. So research has shown that environment plays a major role in our brain and how we work. And it's actually on a very unconscious level that our environment impacts us. So like sometimes I find for me, when my desk gets super messy or just kind of disorganized, right? A disorganized environment is a disorganized mind for me. So I need to clean things up and then I can get back to work. I don't know if you ever feel that way. Yeah, you do? Okay, good. It's not just me. But also changing your environment, even if it's as simple as what side of the desk you sit on, if you're working from home, moving from your home office to your dining room or to your kitchen area, whatever it is, that change of place can often make a huge difference. That's oftentimes why people report being more innovative or feeling more inspired when they go to a cafe. It's not necessarily the cafe, although a great cafe and the energy can make a huge difference. It's the change of environment. Sometimes if I'm working on something really deep, like let's say I'm working on a presentation for a client that I need to give them. If I'm working on that, or I'm working on the toolbox, right? And what videos need to go into the toolbox, I will actually, if it's like noon and I'm feeling tired and tapped out, like I need my energy drink, that's when I'll actually go to the cafe to work. And that 2 things happen actually here. I'm sure you caught it. One is I get my 5 to 7 minute break because now I'm in my car and I'm driving, I'm not working. And I've done a change of space, a change of environment. And again, if you work in an office and you've got your cubicle, change up what's in it, change the pictures, change where things are, change your environment, and it'll have an unconscious impact on your brain, and it can help get you unstuck. All right, I'm going to review these very quickly. Here's what I want you to do in the chat bar. I want you to tell me of these, which one, let's go with two. We got a whole week ahead of us. Which two are you going to commit to trying this week? So let me scroll back up. I'm going to go through them real quick. Are you going to do some type of warm up to help your brain warm up, get into that zone, get into that flow, feel strong? Are you going to time cap it? Add a little forced pressure to quiet that lizard brain, but also to make that pressure work for you to drive innovation? Are you going to doodle it so that your brain can access different parts that it normally doesn't access as it lights up and help you see ideas in a new and more visually driven way? Are you going to break it up and start adding some little mini meditation and movement breaks so that you can get rid of that mental residue that's keeping you stuck and also give your subconscious brain a chance to kind of bubble up a little bit? Are you going to change your words? So whatever it is you're trying to solve, take that verb and replace it with a new one so that you can think totally differently, go down a different path, different questions in, different answers out. Are you going to talk to a stranger? Find somebody who doesn't know as much, is not in your day-to-day, 3 rungs out, who you can bounce some ideas off of and get them to ask you questions. In fact, one of my favorite things to do when I'm talking to a stranger, when I do this activity, is I'll say to them, I want you to ask me 5 questions and help me think about things I didn't think about. So that gives them a purpose versus just saying, well, I don't really know your business or what your job is, so I'm not sure how to respond. I don't know the details of the project. What you can say to them is, I want you to ask me 5 questions to help me think differently. People are so good at that if you put them to work like that. Or number 7, are you going to change your space, right? Shift up your environment, move things around, sit on a different side of your desk, go to a coffee shop, go to your kitchen, go to the work kitchen, whatever it is, change your space. Put these together, and these are how you get unstuck. Okay, so Carolyn says time cap and change of space. Change my words and change my space. Yeah, words make a huge difference. Carolyn, I'm so glad you picked up on the time cap because it's one of my favorites, and you wouldn't think it would work, but it really does because that pressure kind of forces the brain. Think of it this way. Have you ever been lost? Like you're trying to find a restaurant and you're lost, and then like you're under pressure mode and suddenly you're seeing things that you didn't see before and you're thinking in ways you didn't think before to try to figure out, right, how to get back on track. That's what happens here. All right, Mary T says, all I need to be mindful about, though, the warm up and talking to people in a different type of business. Yeah, so the warm up, the paperclip exercise, and talking to people in a different type of business. Good job, everyone. Okay, 7 simple ways to get unstuck. I want you to at least do 2 of them this week. By the way, for different everyday innovator styles, different ones might work a little bit better. Like changing your words and changing your language. That actually, it works for everybody, but it really speaks to inquisitives. The pressure one really speaks to risk takers, as you can imagine. So I would try them all and see which ones really stick with you. I like having 7 because I find too that like if I take a lot of movement breaks after a while, I don't think it decreases in its effectiveness, but it feels like maybe it tapers off a little bit. So I like to have the other ones in the rotation so that I can kind of mix it up a little bit and surprise my brain a little bit as well. All right, everybody, this is the week to get unstuck. So what I want you to go out there and do that. And then especially on LinkedIn, on the comment section, when you've tried it, I want you to come back in and I want you to comment how it worked for you and how it got you unstuck. There is no reason why we need to spend the next 7 days stuck in any way whatsoever. And that's on things little and big. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. I'll see you for